If you notice, the rest of them, their horns are growing up. Also, the rest of the cow's horns are not quite as thick as this one's. Most of what you're seeing out there are females. Now, a female is going to have a thinner set of long horns.
Getting charged.
A bull will have very thick horns. Now, this one on the left is a special one because she's an intrasexual female. She's technically a female that was born with male-sized horns. And this occurs when a female cow gives birth to twins of both sexes, a male and a female twin. What was I going to say? It's called Free-Martin syndrome, and also an additional trait is that the horns grow in the wrong direction. So they're not growing up, they're growing forward. Now, it's totally normal that a set of horns aren't going to be perfectly even. One may be a little bit bigger than the other. But it's much easier to balance that out when your horns are growing up. When they're out to the side, you can feel the weight more. So her right horn is bigger than her left horn. So she's lopsided.
Yeah.
That's why she's our special one. And that's why we named her Eileen. So she's got it.
How heavy are the horns?
How heavy are the horns? I have read many different numbers. It depends on the sex and the age, and even sometimes the genetics. Anywhere from 60 to 110 pounds I've read, including the weight of the head. So that's the weight that the neck supports, but it's not muscular support, it's tendons. So it's not like a weight that they necessarily feel the way you feel like picking up weight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in her case, she probably, obviously feels it more because she's torquing her head to the right. Also, it's not a solid structure of bone growing out of the head too, so it's not as heavy as you might think. What you're looking at right now is a keratin coating, which is like a fingernail coating. So a big thick fingernail. On the inside there's porous bone and then internal blood vessels and nerve endings. So it's kind of a complex structure. So that being said, it's pretty risky to just chop her horns off. We can't just cut them to relieve her discomfort because she probably would bleed to death. Of course, if it gets to the point, she moves around fairly well. She's healthy. She eats fine, but if it gets to the point where she can't, I don't honestly know what they would do. I guess they could try it. But if you notice her right horn, look at the tip. It's kind of been filed down now because when she eats, she just grazes the grass with her horn, so it's flatter at the tip. These are they're descendants of the ancient Egyptian cattle, and the ancient Egyptians bred their cattle for larger horn size, so that's kind of why the horns are kind of ridiculously big.